What is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, go get guys through one across the DFS industry. Voice is still not doing great. Hopefully on the mend, but we're gonna try to power through this again. Big part of me did not even want to try to do this, but this is just a killer slate, like like a truly, truly awesome slate. I really want to break it down. So hopefully you get a chance to watch this. 3 goals today. All right, get this done before little man wakes up, to get this done before the voice gives out, and third, get this under 15 minutes so that you guys can power through this. Hope you did well yesterday. It was a great slate for us over at FSI. Played Lewandowski, Dybala, and you cash. So let's see if we can get on there again today. So quick look at my core, just so you're looking at as you go down. Neymar, Pote, TAA. And you'll notice one of the big things here is that in my core, I have none of the biggest favorite on the slate. Manchester City minus 1,000, hosting Club Brugge. It's really going to be lineup dependent. So City obviously coming off of a really, really terrible loss versus Palace. I think that very much like everything is going to be pushing towards City want revenge here. Bruges just happens to be the opponent. They killed Bruges at Bruges. I got to see the lineup, because I'm looking at this lineup here. There's really only one guy I want that badly, and that's Riyad Mahrez. He should get a share of set pieces. He has PKs. And I think he's the only City player that at their tags, I'm really, really thinking has a ceiling to pay off. Big part of City roulette, when we know an EPL is, you stack all these City pieces together, and all of a sudden, yeah, you might get a goal or you might get a piece of it, but what's the ceiling, right? Like in the EPL, it matters a lot, because a lot of times EPL is lower scoring. We don't have many goals. Getting 15 to 20 from a $10,000 player could work. On this slate, that's not going to work. So Mahrez, even if you play him, you really want 20, 15, you can absolutely make up. So Sterling is interesting. Grealish is interesting. In this lineup, Gundogan and Mahrez would split. If we see Phil Foden on and Mahrez still takes over Foden. Kevin De Bruyne is just a little bit expensive. I doubt that even if he played, that they would play him for all that long if they get up. Manchester City is getting ready for the derby on Saturday. So yeah, all this pushes towards City just kind of being, it's crazy to say that a minus 1,000 favorite might not be a necessity, but because it's City, and because those goals or the assists are going to be so pushed around, I think that they're fadeable in an optimal and cash sense. Now, in GPP, I think you could just go full City stack here too. You could go Mahrez, Sterling, Grealish, play some Gundogan, and then you roll, right? Those are the most likely places for goals and assists. So that's what I'll just say there. For Bruges, as much as I like Bruges and so rare and things like that, I just don't think that you do it here. Vormer and Lang would be the set pieces. Ketelaere and Weineken are really good players, but just not the spot here. Leipzig and Paris Saint-Germain. Let's just talk about the biggest misprice on the slate, which is Neymar at 7,900. No idea. Just too much waiting on performance, but Neymar is buyout beyond a lock at sub 8. He should split set pieces with Angel Di Maria. Mbappe could take 1 or 2, but I think it's Neymar in every lineup. Di Maria is fine. Mbappe is fine. This could have some goals in it. PSG is a slight road favorite. We have a total rate around 3. That over minus 225, under 150 means it's right around 3. So those 3, Idrissa Gueye and Ander Herrera, for some reason, just keep showing up and playing pretty well, but never going to be targets of mine. Sorry, Hakimi and Mendes. They're fine, but I think that there's so many set piece taking fullbacks that they don't make the list. Speaking of set piece taking fullbacks, Angelino is a really solid price, 5,400. I think he is fine in cash. I like Danny Olmo too. If he plays, he's sub 5,000. It's interesting. That could be Sozoblai. Dude, let's see what Sozoblai's price is. I'm not gonna be playing much of any. 7,000 is fine. Of any Leipzig. PSG, while they're not like a dominant force right now, they're also not like a soft matchup by any means. And, much like City, Leipzig just kind of passes it around too. You could so easily get it wrong. And Kunku's been outstanding in the Champions League despite not having set pieces. So it's hard to play him, revenge narrative for him there. But I'm not super interested in Leipzig, a good GPP team because nobody will be on them. But yeah, that's about it. I think for cash, it's really Angelino. And then, like I said, Olmo, if starting, has to be at least considered at 4,700. Maybe a share of set pieces. Their sets are kind of a mess. Again, Angelino and Kunku, Olmo, Forsberg. If on, Sousa Bly's most favored 4 sets. All right, let's go to the next game. Sporting versus Besiktas. Sporting is my favorite team on the slate, bar none. I'm going to, in GPP, have a full Sporting stack, 100% for sure. Their prices are all low for the odds. Besiktas is missing so many players. They're not playing all that well. This is just a spot that I think that Sporting may be under-owned relative to the potential upside that they have. And they're certainly underpriced, meaning you can get a stack, you can still play Neymar, you can still play other good pieces. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Pedro Goncalves, he has Pedro Pote on DK, but he is a lock city. It's only 6,300, takes a majority of sets. Now, he has been splitting with Sarabia. Pedro Porro can take them too, but he just randomly show up for set pieces. He's one of the most talented players in, why am I blanking? In the Portuguese league. I was like, the Portugal league. That's not right. Portuguese league, to me, sub 7,000, just, again, lock city for me. Paulinho, really good striker. Pablo Sarabia, former PSG, former Sevilla guy, has split set pieces over the weekend. He is fine. Pedro Porro, City Loney, is a guy that can put up 20 crosses. Reese is okay as a wing back. Sebastian Coates had 2 goals last slate. So yeah, there's a ton of options here. And Antonio Aiden, I doubt a lot of people are going to pay up for goalkeeper. And if they do, they're going to go all the way up to Ederson. I actually like Aiden more than Ederson. Sporting at home, I think, is a really, really good play. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Sporting. Hope that all made sense. On the Besiktas side, there's one play I'm interested in. I think he's one of the better values on the slate is Getzel at 4,000. Should be close to a monopoly of set pieces here with Pjanic out. Yeah, I love Sporting, but that doesn't mean that Besiktas is never going to have the ball at all. Getzel is a guy that crosses the ball. We get some set pieces at 4,000, 6-7 DK, and we're rolling. Same with Renato yesterday. Yeah, Renato, I wish we had more, but at 3,800, you go, look, he was just fine. He did what I paid for, and that's all we'd be asking for Getzel if you end up there too. All right, excuse me. I'm limping to the finish line, guys. We're almost there. Sheriff versus Inter. Look, I'm not going to go over Sheriff at all. They keep showing up. I like their goalie. I think that makes a lot of sense on the slate if you're paying down, and he's been great. Look at that nice little 8.35 on Sofa. Getting tons of stop versus Inter last game versus Real Madrid. Now they're at home, so I think that makes sense. Phil is their set pieces. Anybody else, just roll, but they're probably GPP. I don't. Let me actually. I just want. I'm curious what prices Bruno guy is. 2,900. So actually, that's a really good value. I forgot that Storm and I, mentioned him for FSI subscribers last time because he was a winger for min price as a defender. So I think that you could definitely do that. 2,900 if Bruno is starting at left wing or left mid for a punt defender. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. All right, let's talk about Inter. If this is the type of lineup that they put out, so if you don't see Calhanoglu and you don't see, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the left wing back's name? Apologies. DeMarco. Jeez, I was like Di Lorenzo. No, it's not Di Lorenzo. DeMarco. If you don't see either one of them, Brozovic at 4,100 is going to have a monopoly set pieces and just be an absolute stone lock. He's in play even without that, but that's the biggest thing you want to look out for because he'd instantly be the best value on the slate. And then at left wing back, I think Fede DeMarco makes a ton of sense. Inter is going to control possession here at 7,700. Look, we just saw him last game that we played him on versus Sheriff in only 53 minutes, put 15.4 DK from the back 3, right? So if we play this like a left wing back, he would absolutely smash. We take a monopoly And if Calhanoglu is in at 7,200, yes, he always subs. Unfortunately, he only likes to play 60 minutes, even in the league game. But at 7,200, I think you have a really good chance of when he does sub out, already being at 14, 15 DK with or without a goal or assist. So those are the cash plays. I think the rest, just because of so many, the depth of plays and the depth of super high floors with the upside, like Perisic, Martinez, Dzeko, Dumfries get relegated to GPP only. Barella in there too, Vidal, who at min price was a great play last slate. I think less now in that 4,000 range. But, if you just wanted to go full interstack and say, Sheriff's finally, kind of met their match, I can't blame you there. Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid. So let me just throw this out there. Nobody's going to be on Liverpool. Salah, this will be the lowest ownership you ever see on Salah for being probably the most informed player in the world. I am not playing him. I don't really even find good builds, but just know if you're a GPP player and you're looking for ownership and you think that Liverpool could score 2 or 3 goals here, this is going to be like the lowest you'll ever get them. So that being said, I'm a fan of the fullbacks, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think especially versus Madrid side, that here is going to play defensive, sets up really well. If you don't get a goal, if it's 0-0 at half, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold already has 10. And you're looking at that 16 to 17 floor game potentially. So big fan of TAA. Robertson, is fine too. Notice more and more with Robertson that he's not getting forward as much as with the mismatched midfield. Like that's the biggest thing. When Liverpool don't have Fabinho in the middle, and Henderson isn't allowed to be out here roaming the pitch in the midfield, it really is tough on Liverpool. And Robertson has a more defensive role. So when you see like Jones and Oxlade, those are not defensive guys that are going to cover space that well. So I do think it hurts Robertson a little bit. Okay, that's Liverpool. Atletico, no, just pass on everybody. Carrasco, I pause. He's really cheap. It's like 4,200. I was interested for a second, and then I realized, no, I can do better things. So GPP only. Final game, Dortmund versus Ajax. Not much here for me. If Ajax was at home, I think we could speak a little bit more, but I just don't see much here. Berghuis and Tadic will split sets, but they're not cheap. Tadic is, let's see here. Tadic is 8,900. That's brutal. 1,000 more than Neymar. Berghuis 7,600, 300 less than Neymar. That's just so tough. So play sporting. Haller, YOLO GPP goal, sure. Hazard and Brandt for sets for Dortmund. Ajax and good old Remco have just been really hard to score on. So, I'm not a huge fan of going Dortmund here, but again, another team that won't have any ownership if you want to go that route. I totally get it. All right, that'll do it. So Neymar, Pedro Goncalves, I'm not going to call him Pote on there. I think that's his nickname. So Pedro Goncalves, and then TAA. That's my core. Good luck, everybody, with that. This is Keith, aka Gator Guy 231. See you.